Hi, I'm Dr. Lindsay Coble.
Dr. Noelle Crosby, and this is the Sound Sisters, the Hearing Diaries. And today we have who I say Miss Live in Capitals and Emojis friend, Stacy O'Brien, as our guest. If any of you know Stacy, you know what I'm talking about. She is an audiologist, entrepreneur, advocate, and leader. And Stacy has had a unique path into audiology. She builds successful practices and she serves on the ADA board. And she recently started the Audiology Excellence Future Owners. And then the other one is owners, right? So you have two groups. So she's going to tell us a little bit about that today. But she's really trying to mentor and support the next generation of practice owners out of her own heart, which is amazing. So if you don't know about that, we'll share that a little bit more with you. But we're excited to talk to her today about leadership, mentorship, personal growth, and the future of audiology. So welcome, Stacy.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. I'm so excited to be here spending lunch with you.
Yeah, so we're excited you're here. So let's just talk about your path into audiology. I know it wasn't traditional. So tell us a little bit about your journey into how that started and how you got where
Yeah.
you are.
Oh my gosh. Well, I became aware of audiology when my first daughter was born. She's 30 now. We had some friends, and the wife was finishing her graduate degree and said, after Bailey was born, "Hey, can she come be my final project? I need to check her hearing." And I was like, "Oh, how do you check an infant's hearing? They
Oh,
can't raise
funny.
their hand." So we went, and she was a week old, and we had like 4 hours of testing. And I just fell in love with the technology patient part of marrying those two.
Mhm.
So then we go about our way and we move, and they come to visit quite a bit. And I'm always asking, bring that audiology stuff. And she would bring me journals and I would just absorb it. Fast forward, I had my second daughter, and she wasn't walking or talking like my firstborn at like 10, 11 months. So 12 months are passing, 13 months, 14 months. And I'm like, something's wrong. But she had had ear infections, and I personally sought out the best pediatric otolaryngologist in our area. And so she was being managed with what I thought was good management. And they just kept giving her antibiotics. Then one of the antibiotics, the penicillin, paralyzed her from the waist down. We had to go pump her stomach.
Oh,
I
wow.
started looking at other options, said we need tubes. They put tubes in. And within 2 weeks, she was babbling and walking. And
Wow.
now I'm pissed because I'm like, what? And now I'm diving in and I'm remembering the audiology stuff, and I'm learning that our hearing imbalance. And I'm saying, oh my gosh, if I'd have known this sooner, well, they never did a hearing test on her to see
Oh
the
my God.
effect of fluid. And I'm at a pediatric. So that just kind of gave the fire. I was just waiting. Even though it was later in life, I was being prepared because the fire was building. And I just knew that at some point I was going to be able, I was hoping that I would be able to get into this industry and make a difference. Because from that, now, mind you, this was only like maybe she was almost about a year and a half when she got her tubes and all got better. From just that, she had speech therapy all through elementary and still had a
Wow.
lisp and balance. We were a very active family, but the effects of just that, and I was entrusting her care to who I thought had her best interest at heart. Now, anyway, there you go.
There you go. And
Yeah.
I know when somebody lights a fire into you, it's going.
Oh,
It's hard to blow it out, right?
it just took many years to get back there, but I just kept taking the next step, that I could towards it. So,
Oh,
yeah.
so after that experience was when you got into audiology. What was your career path before that? What were you thinking your career was going to look like?
Yes. So I didn't even get into audiology after that. I just had that passion, like this is a great travesty. There were no real ways to get in touch. Facebook was just kind of coming about.
Mm-hmm.
So really we're left to whatever, the mom next door had experienced. So
Yeah.
I went about my way. I loved numbers and math. So I did accounting, then I learned people love taxes, needed good help with taxes. So I did a short stint every year with H&R Block where you could sign a 2-week contract and they would update you on all the annual congressional changes so I could help people. And then after my 2 weeks there, I would go and do my own business. And then when my youngest started school, my neighbor was doing mortgages and it was math and I loved it. And they needed help, but they didn't have office space. So they needed me to work from home, which was what I wanted. So I was coaching my kids in a lot and homeroom mom and really involved. And then at night I could come and do mortgages. And then I saw ways, and throughout my life, I had seen ways where I wanted to help the customer or the client even better. So I just would kind of go create my own thing, not starting out that way. So when I left, I went and got my broker license and I went to leave and my processor was like, you got to take me with you. And then a couple other people in the office, you got to take me with you. And I didn't want any employees. I wanted to focus on my kids. And so we figured out a way where I could pay them through the HUD. And then that was great. And then 2008 came and I had been, the bottom fell out of housing. And that opened up the door for audiology.
Wow.
Gosh.
Stacy, it's so funny because you are such a people person, and I just would not have expected that you would be a numbers person too.
Oh, girl, I'm on the beach doing Sudoku. I'm in like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
But also like what good characteristics
for business.
for business to know those things prior to getting into audiology. That's one of the biggest downfalls is people have no business knowledge when they enter audiology, and you kind of did it opposite, which is awesome.
Yes. So it was wonderful. I knew when I was getting into audiology what I wanted to do. So when I went into my program, my doctorate program, which is a whole nother story how that came about, but I was able to request additional classes from the MBA program at the same time. So I knew my age and I knew like the Flintstones, I had to have my feet running by the time I graduated. So I was just trying to fill myself with every bit of information.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Like, tell us a little bit about how you got in, like so you made that decision in 2008, and then tell us a little bit more about your journey.
Well, that's why I'm passionate. I have the owner's page, like you said, and when I had offered that, so many people reaching out to join it that wanted to be an owner. So I was like, remembering back to my first journey, that mentors were huge. And I had learned that when I was getting into audiology, through ADA, I did the business plan competition as a student, their first one.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. And so I was put with some great mentors and I spent a lot of time on that, which actually helped me define my launch. I knew I did my business plan. I knew I didn't want to do business that way, starting from scratch. So I was able to focus, and I knew mentors were a great way to do that, which is what the goal is of the Future Owners page, is to help. As you know, I invited you and other great mentors that I don't want my way to be the way. I just want to give information so people can say what resonates with them. So your way, a couple other Ericas on there, some other mentors can give input, not tell anybody what to do, but maybe they'll get something that resonates. And because that's what was done for me. I knew in my head my dream, and I took bits and pieces from the mentors, and that
Yeah.
exponentially launched me, I believe.
Amazing. So you said you didn't start from scratch. So what was your career once you graduated as an audiologist? Where did you start? And then kind of fast forward to all the practices you owned and what that all
Right.
looked like.
Yeah, so I searched for a practice that was already going, and so I joined a practice, and I had 3 years to meet revenue goals, and then
Mhm.
he would sell it to me.
Oh,
Well, I met the revenue goals within the first year, and I bought the practice in a year and a half, and then I had an opportunity to start a second one, and then a third one came available, and then I hit a ceiling that I didn't want to. I was working weekends, nights. I didn't have a process for scaling like I thought. I wasn't communicating. I was just hiring passion is what I thought. And then
mhm.
I realized that I needed, again, great mentors. I had a mentor that had over 70 clinics and
Mhm.
had retired and sold them. And he really helped me with my process. And then once I started doing that and realized I got to step back and do more for onboarding. Like I'm hiring and assuming we're all professionals and they can read my mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the case. And
That
just
would be
because,
great.
yeah, right. So I took a step back and was able to put my thoughts to paper on a process for onboarding, which just helps the whole team with expectations. And it greatly alleviated me carrying all the weight. I always wanted to make everything transparent. So the goals, the finances became transparent. We had a daily report that the whole team had access to. So we had shared goals, and I was now hiring other like-minded people so they could treat their own position as their own business. I had many audiologists and clinicians who bought their first home working
Yeah.
for me, and they would say, I want to come work on a Saturday to see patients because I'm saving for the down payment. Go for it. So that's really is rewarding to help other people elevate.
Meet their
Yes, yes.
goals.
Oh, I
Love that.
remember when I first met you, Stacy. I was at an ADA, and you were with, like, I knew Kelly and Kelly's audiologist, and I think you had been working for Indy.
Yes.
Yes, yes. And I had heard about you, but I never met you. And then I met you, and I was like, wow,
Oh, you're
she
so
is on fire, you know? So it was just so interesting to see how quickly, actually, like you were able to achieve the things that you achieve. Like it was much quicker than most of us have been able
Mhm.
to get there. And so that was really cool to watch you do that as well.
Yeah, I had a great, Kelly, I sought out because I heard she had the best vestibular. Well, I
Yeah.
knew in school vestibular was so critical. I was seeing it in my own grandparents and
Mhm.
the issues. I knew I was passionate about hearing aids. I didn't want to actually maybe do the vestibular, but I knew I needed to have that in my practice. And she wasn't taking students. And I called her. I was like, begging, like, please take me. And she did, God bless her. And then I did my externship with Indy, and that was
Yeah.
incredible. I learned some amazing things. So
Yeah.
just a blessing from mentors. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about, let's switch over to some Tony Robbins, because I
Oh,
know, like, when I a couple of years ago I did the Tony Robbins during COVID. Actually, he decided that was a really cool thing to watch that transition, because he always did things live, right? And he had everything set up live, and everybody was close to each other, and then he realized he wasn't going to be able to do that anymore. So I kind of saw how he took that, and then with Dean,
yeah.
his partner, they decided they were going to do this webinar or this free Facebook Live, right? To whoever wanted to do it. And so all of us during COVID didn't have a lot to do. So he had this amazing, Facebook
Video.
Live, a whole session. And then he transitioned to he built a studio in where he lives in West Palm. It was like the first huge like Zoom studio. And then he did a couple of his, I did the business mastery through the Zoom, it was like he had to get them to figure out a way to have that many people. Like I think he helped so many people develop those kinds of programs, right?
Taught
And so
him
I
how
know
to
while
do
I
it,
was taking
probably.
it, you had shared to me that you had taken it. And so you and I talked a lot about that. But just tell us how you got to be recognized by him and actually be his audiologist too.
Yes. Uh, it's a crazy, well, that whole thing, like he never canceled a live show, and that he was supposed to go to San Jose, and they canceled it. They said you can't have more than
That's
10.
right.
So
Yeah.
he immediately pivoted, and I've learned so much just being involved with him. And how it came about, I went to my first business mastery in West Palm, and it was the first time I took that much time out of the clinic, and went, and I was there, and they had it was incredible. As soon as I walk in and the music's going and people are jumping, I'm like, I found
That's a perfect place for you.
my demo. And then they had this opportunity to do platinum partnership where you can pay and have these special events, and I went to just check it out, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna go. It was like 1 a.m, like you're going all day, and I said,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
I'll go back to my hotel room and pray about it. And I went back to my room and fell asleep. But the next morning, I woke up early to set my intention, and I went into prayer, and then I went back and I signed up. There was an event the following month, and that would be the last live event he did, and it was for platinum partners. And so I'm going to that, and I knew in my head, I don't know how, but I know I'm going to end up testing his hearing. I brought all my cerumen management, my
Oh
hearing,
my gosh.
and I go and I'm testing everyone in the rooms, because you're all in close rooms, and so, and I love to ask questions. And
Oh yes.
so I told myself, I just said, okay, Jesus, I am not going to ask a question unless you light me up inside. And so you're sitting in a room, there's only like 300 or 400 people in platinum partnerships. In finance, he brings in 20, I think it was like 18 of the world's best financial people from all different aspects. And this was in February, and there was only one person there who mentioned for like 10 minutes COVID. It was crazy.
Oh.
It wasn't even, out there.
Yeah, I remember those days.
So he would have you skiing. You would go skiing in the morning, and you had one-on-one ski coach. And I grew up skiing kind of. I'm not going black diamond straight down, but I can hold my own. I can zigzag enough.
Me too.
Yeah. So the ski instructor said, pick something you'd never in a million years think you could do. And I said, ski backwards. So
wow.
Within an hour, I was skiing backwards. So it
Oh
was
my God.
So you're just on fire. It's like we should all be doing things we think we can't do. We can.
Yep.
And anyway,
Yep.
so I get to the first day, and he's got the speakers, and Peter Diamandis is up there, and somebody's, poo-pooing AI and whatever. And I've got my Starkey AI translate. And all of a sudden in me, the Holy Spirit is going up. I mean, it's like, I don't even remember. I'm just on fire. We're all in our ski gear. Next thing I know, he's like, okay, 3 questions. Okay, last question. Get somebody up front. By that time, I'm like on my chair. Blah, blah, blah. And everyone around me, when he said, okay, no more questions, they're all like, she's got a question. So he comes over and he's got them. And I'm like, Peter, these are the best AI, blah, 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 blah. They're helping people. And Tony's in the back. He's the ultimate student. He's incredible. And he's taking notes on every speaker. And he's like, tell us where we can get these. Who are you? Blah, blah, blah. And that was cool. And then later on in the day, there's somebody talking about stroke, some way that they're helping people prevent strokes. And again, I'm sitting somewhere else, and the Holy Spirit lights me up. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to be annoyed with me. But I'm raising my hand. I'm like, I'm thinking of the hearing test. It's a very quick, simple, low frequency hearing loss rising is a huge red flag for cardiovascular. We refer a lot. So I'm like, have you thought about adding to your, preemptive a hearing test? It's very simple, blah, blah, blah. So after that, I guess that was it. After that, we take a quick water break, and then this huge hand comes on my back. And it's like, Tony's like, hey. And then that next night, I was with my gear testing. I was at his house. And
you knew to take the gear. You knew to take the gear.
I knew.
I know. I can see that.
We have intuition. We just got to follow it. And sometimes we think it's crazy, but I didn't share it with anybody. So I'm like, why are you taking your gear? I'm going to test hearing, you know? Anyway.
You were determined. You were going to do it.
And he's the real deal. He and his trainer, Billy Beck, vetted me. Like, they don't want to work with people that aren't passionate about what they do. And him and his family, Sage is just a beautiful human being.
She seems like she is.
Incredible. And I learned from his teaching and from being around them that mindset is everything. Like, if you can or you can't, you're right. So why don't we tee this up? Like, we can do anything that comes in our heart is because it was meant for us. So don't block it, and maybe don't even share it with anyone, because it might sound crazy. I don't, I'm working on some things now that I just are blowing my mind. God is so good. So that, and it's the constant reminders. Like, I was already putting goals up and making goals personally and professionally, and that just cemented it. I mean, the big poster board sat in front of my toilet for years until
every time you would sit, you would see it.
Every time. And then my husband's like, can we move this? Now it's in my closet, and I updated. And for Mother's Day every year, I want my daughters know my Mother's Day gift is you come spend time. We write our goals for the next 6 months or year.
Oh, I love that.
And you achieve them very fast, very fast.
Do you feel like, Stacy, have you always been positive, motivated, light and airy? Like, did that come later in life, or have you always had that fire?
So honestly, I'll tell you, and I've spoken about this, but I've always felt different, maybe like all of us have, but I had some childhood trauma stuff. And when I finally realized what needed to be healed and went through that, I was probably 30 when it kind of finished, when I did 3 years of recovery. And I had this overwhelming feeling like I just wasted, not really, but 30 years of my life, I felt not good enough. I felt unworthy. I felt shameful, until I dealt with all that. And I was like, never again. I'm going to live my best life. And it does maybe put some people off. And I even that was hurtful. Like, if you could see my heart, you would know. And when you're super happy and positive, people mistake that for weakness and take advantage of it. And it's been taken advantage of. And even in my own family, it's, hard to observe that. And I'm on a mission. So either you're with me or not, and it's okay. You don't have to be with me, but I know that I can help humanity with what I'm passionate about. So it's not personal, and it's okay. And I'm wishing you the best always.
Yeah.
So,
you do feel that being around you for sure.
Oh, well, I've had people that have really screwed me over and later contacted me, and I'm sorry. And I'm like, man, it's okay. I forgave you a long time ago. I'm wishing you the best, because it does me no good to hold on.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that.
But like, living life as the way you live it, where like every day is an adventure and you get so excited about things. Oh my gosh, that's such a better way of living a life than complaining and like not appreciating every day for what it is, which is not always easy to do, especially like when you're working. It's like, oh, it's another day. But I always say it's a day I'm never going to get back, and nothing is ever going to be the same. So I'm just going to try to and it's my life, like it's my only life. So I'm going to try to make the most of every day.
And
So
you're
I
such
try
an
to do that.
inspiration. Well, and I want to, maybe this is helpful because one of the things Tony shared in the first live I went to, when you talk about negativity, how you just said that, and it really hit home for me how what we talk about we're getting more of. So if we complain a lot or we're talking about our poor health, that's just going to keep perpetuating.
Yes.
And he shared a story how, how come in the middle of these desert roads you'll get people that'll crash into the pole. There's one pole and everything else around them, because when things start to go sideways, they're so focused on not hitting the pole, they hit the pole. Instead of like NASCAR, they tell you when you start to whatever spin out, you look at where you want to go.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
So it's like, without even knowing it, we can unintentionally be receiving or stuck in a cycle because we keep talking about it or focusing on the negativity.
Yep.
Love
sure.
that. Okay,
I
let's
like
shift.
to, sorry,
Go ahead,
live
Noelle.
in the
Go ahead, Noelle.
solution, not the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Live in a solution. So when you live in a solution, you're always living in that instead of, like you can mourn or you can like say, okay, I have the problem, but then you move right over to what's the solution.
Totally.
Yes.
I've been kicked out of serving in a few homeless groups, which is a story for another day, because I put them in my car and I go take them, but I'm not being dumb with it. But one of the groups, it was especially heartbreaking because I'd been going to this church for a long time, and they called me and they said, we'd like you, not to come back because you're making the people there to protect us nervous. And I'm like, okay, well, I hung up and I was just in tears. I was crying because I've been shopping for these people. They needed size, blah, blah, blah. They needed this. I would go out and bring it. So I was just crying. And then Jesus put on my heart, I was crucified and I was innocent. So I like immediately okay, I'm going to take this day. I'm going to mourn it. And tomorrow I'm going to wake up. And the joke was on them because now I see homeless. I stop all the time and help them, So anyway, it was just funny. You can't take life too seriously also. Like,
right. That's very true.
So true. Okay. Here was my question that I was thinking, because as we're talking about negativity, I feel like audiology has gotten so heavy. And so you serve on the ADA board. Let's talk about what challenges or opportunities do you see? I feel like so often we hear the challenges and things we're dealing with and woe is me. But I feel like there's so much opportunity for our profession too. That we're like fixated over here, but we need to like look over here. What do you see in your eyes, Stacy? What do we need to focus on?
So, such a great question, Lindsay. So just the way I'm wired, I'm going to focus on the solution. And I was a part of Audiology 2050, which ADA's put out, which is a goal of wonderful things. And it can be modified. We looked at it again this past meeting. So it's so hopeful. Like we know it when we're seeing patients, we're in there and we want the lab results. We want to see, is this normal, essentially auditorily normal patient who keeps getting recurrent vertigo? Do they have a vitamin D deficiency? We need to know that. Now we don't need to interpret it, but we need to be able to have this information sooner. Imaging, full body. There's so much now with the nervous system information and frequencies, how they can help settle the nervous system. So as audiologists, we should be leaning into those things, and the university levels providing information for new classes. I got to talk with a new program that's coming out and sharing some middle ear. How come we only learn about the middle ear as being reflexive? That's like saying our eyelids only there as a reflexive response. No, the middle ear has so many other things it's doing connected to the vagus nerve. So really, I would love, I love the Audiology 2050. It's a roadmap. It's a goal. Doesn't mean it's set in stone, but it is a good framework. And about the negativity, I never take any of it personally. And yet I just, because I'm focused on the solution, I try to, respond with solution-centered responses. And it does bother me, maybe I try to stay unbothered about it, but it's like good meaning people, if they could see the potential that's right in front of them in their own greatness, their own greatness can be a part of it. So my goal is that we can come together and really take some giant steps. Maya is looking better than ever with support from all organizations. That is just incredible, which helps patients have better access to care when we all win. So
yes. Gosh, well, do you think we're ready for the rapid fire?
Sure.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else that you want to say, Stacy, or is there anything else you want to ask her, Lindsay? I could probably talk to Stacy all day, but
I know the world needs to hear from Stacy all day. What accomplishment are you most proud of, Stacy?
Oh, that's such a beautiful question. I love my family. So this is like vertical integration, but in a good way. It's like, because I think my family is my greatest work in progress accomplishment. It keeps me humble, like little, how humble does a little one say, you stink,
Keep you in check.
Yeah. So because the family, the is just my absolute priority. And then from the family, it's connection, patience, what we put into patients helps them stay connected to their family. My grandparents were my biggest fans early on. I couldn't see that my parents were, but I could see that my grandparents. So how do we keep that connection? So connecting patients and then clinicians with them, and then insurance opening up to give access. So it's all like life-changing education. That's one of the things in all my practices, and also what I love to make sure I talk about is out there, because going from my early experience with my daughter, had I been given the information, I could have called in something different, the PE2 or something more natural, to work on this before it came to, not walking and talking. So really, all of those things are connected in my mind.
I love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, Noelle, you ready for rapid fire?
Ready for rapid fire.
Oh
what is one word that describes you?
I would say relentless.
Relentless. I can definitely say that one.
I have a nickname that's called the Honey Badger. But so
it's a good one.
That's great.
What is your coffee order? Or do you drink tea or water or
all of the above? I love my husband's espresso.
Ooh, there you go.
Espresso created. I'm a little spoiled now.
And what is a sound that makes you happy?
Family laughing, music. I love music.
Love that. What's the best advice you've ever received? Oh, that's a loaded one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Changing them up,
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Stacy.
Tell us, Stacy.
A couple of rapid fire. Okay, don't take anything personally. Proximity is power. Just get yourself around other people doing great things, and ideas, connections, doors open. And don't dim your light.
Oh, I love that. Don't dim your light. That's a good one.
And what is a skill you'd love to master?
I want to speak every language overnight, please. So
there you go.
Connect with more of the world.
Okay. How would you describe hearing healthcare in 10 years in one word? That's a tricky one, Noelle. Wow, we're bringing
I didn't realize that was
one word.
You can do it in more than one word.
I'm going to say transform.
There you go.
Okay, that's a good word.
We are, ladies, you are part of it. Like this is incredible opportunity to get information out, what you're offering.
Thank you.
I love that. I will still be here in 2050. I will still be practicing probably.
I won't be.
I'll be transforming.
Um, let's say, well, like if you had a warning sign, Lindsay and I did our show on this last week, what would it be? Like, what would somebody say your warning symbol? What do we call it?
I
Like
don't know, like
we
a warning
Yeah,
label, a
a
warning
warning
yeah,
label.
warning
label. That's what I
label.
meant. A
Oh
warning
my
label.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, extremely passionate. And
Yeah.
there's signals. If you're wearing a hearing aid and we're at a party, I'm finding you, and somebody's going to have to come save you because I'm going to want to know, do you wear it? Do you love it? What don't you, how can we fix this? What, la, 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 la. So maybe a conversation might start a movement or something.
Okay, that's great.
Love that. What's one thing people might be surprised to learn about you?
Okay. Well, I don't know if you know this. I did my undergraduate in Las Vegas at UNLV. No
Mhm.
parent should ever allow their child to go to Las Vegas for college. I'm just kidding. I have wonderful friends that whose kids were very responsible, but I learned how to count cards my senior year and had to repeat my senior year.
Oh my gosh, that is
God, what a
hilarious.
skill. That is a skill.
That's your math mind,
It was
right?
so much fun. Yeah. And how it all happened is crazy, but
Well, one day we'll have to hear that story
yeah,
too. And lastly, as you know, I'm all about the bee.
yeah.
Which bee are you? Curious, brave, bold, kind, or happy?
Okay. Yeah, I would say bold, and
Mhm.
I'm probably more like a honey badger dressed like a bee.
Okay, I love that too. Because honey, so it's honey bee, honey
Yeah,
badger.
there
So
you go.
Very good.
all right. So before we close, I just wanted to mention our Be Curious segment, like that we like to do every time. And today, our Be Curious segment is about the new course that AAA is offering, Leadership Excellence in Audiology Professional Series, and they're calling it LEAP. And it's a 6-part course that you can sign up for. I think it's 395 or 375. Sorry, I'm just 375. So it's 375 and you can take it as a live course or you can take it as a recorded course. And like some of the modules are foundations of leadership, emotional intelligence, effective communication, strategic decision making, team development and leadership and organizational change. So you can sign up for that. It's 375. I think it's going to be really great to have something like that.
Yeah,
So
sounds like
just
a
check
great
it out.
course.
It's on the AAA website, the LEAP program. So thank you for listening to our Be Curious segment.
And Stacy, thank you so much for joining us. Your
Oh, thank
journey
you.
is a wonderful reminder that it's never too late to pursue a new path, take a risk, and lift others along the way. We appreciate your leadership and your service to our profession through ADA. And to our listeners, thank you so much for spending time with us. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and always be curious.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Stacy, so much. And we'll see you next time on the Sound Sisters.